Hi, my name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood, and welcome to your Mentor's Moment. Here we answer questions by real dads seeking advice, insight, or a different perspective on some issue they're facing in their lives. In today's question, a dad asks, fathers with grown daughters, is there anything about your relationship they're rearing, growing up, that you'd change, and any advice you can impart? I'm a father of young daughters and would really like to hear your thoughts. I love this question. This is so great. So just for clarity's sake, depending on how you define a grown daughter, I have a 17-year-old daughter. So that's pretty grown, not an adult quite yet. She's a young adult. That being said, I love having a girl in my life. I grew up with brothers and never had a daughter, and I had no idea what to do when I became a dad of a daughter. Boy, oh boy, daughters and sons are completely different, as is every child is different than another, but having a daughter is dramatically different than having sons in my experience, because I have one of each. That being said, I got some stuff for you. So first of all, your girls need you. They need you. They need all of you. They are going to spend in different parts of their life a lot of attention focused on you. And it's really wonderful and it's exciting. And then there are times where they're pushing you away, and that's very frustrating and can be really tough too. But your girls absolutely need you. And they are dying for you to interact with them. So we have this societal norm that girls are they're pink and bows and ponytails and toy horsies and all the things that go along with that. And there is, to a certain extent, there is that. But they also have the same needs. They have the same needs that boys have as well. So it's really critical, in my opinion, not to treat your girls like porcelain, but to get in and play with them and have a great time with them. Play with them on the swings, play with them in the yard. You don't have to go and throw a ball with them, but find activities that they like to do and go engage in those things and inspire them to be active in the world. Inspire them to be active in the world and be connected to you. When they are connected to their dads, they feel more connected to what it means like to be in relationship with a man. And this is something that they are inherently keeping their eyes on. And it almost doesn't matter what their sexual orientation is at a later date. It's neither here nor there. And this isn't about a romantic thing, nor is it about a sexual thing. But what it is it's about a relating piece. It's about the relating piece. Is they get to see what it means to be connected to a man, actually the most important man in their life. So they really are listening to the way that you speak to them. They are looking at the way that you interact with them. They're looking at the way that you interact with your wife. This is really critical. What you say and the way that you interact with them becomes the voice that they talk to themselves with inside their head. So if you're saying encouraging, inspiring, intentional things about what they can do in the world and who they can be and empowering them, those are the voices they will hear in their head. This is really critical. The moment someone shared that with me, I was gobsmacked and changed everything about the way I communicated with my kids. Your voice is the voice that they will hear in their heads when they become adults. So what we say has real impact. Your daughters crave the closeness of their father, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you should lean into that closeness. There's nothing weird about it. There's nothing inappropriate about it. Your boys do the same thing as well. They sometimes, right, boys will do that, rambunctious boys will do that by wrestling. They'll want to wrestle with their dad, and they'll tear it up and this, that, and the other thing. That's a form of closeness, but we as dads don't think that's weird. So don't let it be weird that your daughters want to sit on your lap or constantly, hold your hand, or even when they get older, even and especially when they get older. My daughter still comes and completely nestles herself in my shoulder for a big hug sometimes. Absolutely. That's who the whole thing is. And when we were talking about wrestling there a minute ago, one of the things I discovered, and I totally wandered on this after reading a book called Dads and Daughters, is when my daughter was young, I wasn't wrestling with her, even though I thought that was kind of fun. I like the physical contact. I'm kind of a physical guy. And one day I was with my daughter and I said, come on, let's sit on the floor. And she said, okay, we're going to sit on the floor. And I said, let's wrestle. And she's like, what? She was kind of giving me that, well, I don't know what that means. And so I reached over and I tickled her, and she was like, oh, and I was like, now I'm going to, tickle you on the ground. And she was like, no. And then she got up and she got into this stance, this fighter stance, with a blonde ponytail, wearing the pink shirt. And she's like, arr! And she jumped on me. And from then on, it was a wrestle fest. And it shifted something for her and in our relationship, where suddenly it was okay to be physical with each other, and it created a new layer of intimacy for between my daughter and I, which we still enjoy to this day. Your daughters are going to make choices about the men that they bring into their life based on who you are with them. They're looking to you to see the cues of what can be expected from adult men. They're looking at cues to see, is this the kind of man I want in my life? Is this the type of man that I want to be in a romantic relationship? Is the kind of behavior that this man in my workplace is interacting with me okay? And where they will use that as a reference point is you. So how you go, so will your daughters follow. If you speak to them in empowering ways, they will expect that. If you make sure that it's never okay to talk down to somebody in the family, they will recognize that that is not okay. If you step in when somebody is saying something they shouldn't say, or treating somebody in a way that they shouldn't, they will be empowered to do the same, and they will know that that is not okay. There's no greater gift that we can give our daughters in this world, in our society, than empowering them to recognize good behavior and bad behavior from men. And where that difference is made is with us. They will seek men in connection. They will seek men for solace who are some version of us. Now, let's be clear. Our daughters may end up choosing men that are the polar opposite of us. Yeah, that sometimes happens too. But at the end of the day, there's a relationship that they have for the 18 years, those 18 short years that we're together, that we are the closest man in their life, where we spend the most time with us, where we spend the most time with them, and that has an impact. What you do matters. What you say matters. I could go on and on for days about this, but it's a great question. I really want to thank you for asking. Thanks for asking this great question. Keep asking more questions. So now I have a question for you. How would you have addressed this dad's issue? Do you have a question you'd like to ask? If you liked this video, consider checking out the other questions dads have asked. And lastly, remember, we become better men by spending time with good men. My name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood, and this has been your Mentor's Moment.